NFT market volume has picked up this week, thanks in large part to Cockpunch and Valhalla. We've gotten some news on Otherside that is quite exciting. I'm looking forward to getting into that with Dan here momentarily. Before we get going, please like today's stream, smash the ever-living shit out of that subscribe button, as the YouTube hosts say. Nothing we say on this show is financial advice. Please do your own research and head to FLOLiO.com for all of your NFT marketplace needs. Dan, it's an exciting Friday. Market volume has picked up a little bit. We saw 10,000 ETH traded on Wednesday, which was the first time we've seen that since early November. So very excited for that. How are you feeling about the market right now?
Pretty good. We see projects like Cockpunch, for example. Also, it's so funny to talk about the project when we just talk. It's like, Cockpunch. They did what was it, like 3,000, 4,000 ETH in volume on like their first or second day. Like, it's good to see new projects dropping and a lot of volume being traded in like that project. And that's good to see. I think that means it's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 0.3 mint and it sold out immediately. They had no issue selling out. There's been over 3,000 or 4,000 now ETH traded on it in secondary in just 2 days. And the reveal is happening today. I'll be, as with anything, the floor price always goes down post reveal. Yes. I don't know if there's much they could do to prevent that. I think we'll see that happen. My concern is that the art doesn't look good and then they could really tank it. But with Tim Ferriss behind it, I think it has a very strong chance of, building some value long term. I don't think, he's not promising people the world. He's made it very clear what he expects out of this project. So, we'll see how the art turns out. It could be really good. It could be really bad. And speaking of art, let's talk Valhalla for a second here. So you pointed out to me right before the show started that the neck, and I'm going to just pull up the page. The neck, these look like the long neck ladies version 2.0, which is really funny. I mean, if we look at this Valhalla character, that is quite the neck we got here. I mean, that's really long. We were discussing the reveal took place on Wednesday, how we thought about the art. In my opinion, it's not going to elevate the project by any means. Like, people aren't going to be like, wow, that is incredible, we got to buy into this. And I don't think it's bad enough to push the project down. I think they played it safe. They kind of bunted on this one, if I want to use a baseball analogy. And that was probably for the best. And if you're buying Valhalla, it shouldn't be, the original thesis shouldn't have been behind the art. It was about what they're trying to build, being the Twitch of Web3, the fact that they have founders who have built other things in the past, say what you want about them, the fact that they do have VC backing and a long runway to try to create this, Twitch competitor, if you will. One thing that they announced today is that you'll be able to, there's going to be like a token drop, but it's not going to be like a monetary token. It's actually going to allow you to re-roll some of the traits on your assets that you don't like. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. I think that, if there's certain things you don't like about the ones that you revealed and you can change those, I don't think that's a bad thing per se.
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. I'm unsure exactly where I stand on that. I saw something along the same line, along the same lines on, what is that? Lives of Asuna, I think. It's like a long time ago. And I'm not sure if I like that, because like Dikensas is pointing out in the chat as well, that could potentially adjust rarity, right? Or do you know if this is somehow limited in like a certain tier group, like common or like rare or whatever?
I have the thread pulled up on Twitter right now. So you're going to be able to select a trait, burn one of their armory tokens, receive 3 new options, and then replace your trait or keep the original. Traits chosen to be replaced will update the metadata of your avatar on chain and cannot be reversed. So which traits can you re-roll? The primary, which is their weapon, the clothing, and the hair. So I don't think that you're going to be, able to re-roll the most rare ones. it might affect the rarity a little bit. Like if you have let's say you have a 1 of 1, you're not going to be able to re-roll your a trait to get a 1 of 1. So I think from that standpoint, it shouldn't impact the rarity too much.
Yeah, I like that you're only able to modify like a few ones, right? Like I don't like the idea that you have this asset and then you can completely change everything about it. I think that's kind of like I don't know, it goes against the point of like an NFT. I think at that point it's just like that. Well, I assume they're all then the same, right? Because they're all completely interchangeable. I do like some more. Is it called permanence? I'm unsure. I just like more when you mint something and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe they do it really well. Maybe they can change my mind. But I guess we have to wait and see.
You know, like there's 5 different types. You know, there's the most rare, which are like Eternals and Demons. It's not like you're going to be able to roll and all of a sudden get one of those. So, you know, I think overall, I think it's a cool idea. You can't, like, there's the aura as well, which is another type of trait. It's not like you can change that.
Okay.
So I think it's a cool idea. I think, you know, the ability, I think it's going to allow people to be a little bit more connected to the one that they have if they're able to change it and they like the changes that they can make. Like you know, we talk about how these PFPs are kind of like your virtual identity. I think it adds another layer to that, which is a positive thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, you know, be more optimistic with some of these things because we've seen so many projects fail and so many people leave the NFT space that like anyone who is around and they're trying new things at this point, I want to give the benefit of the doubt because we've already removed a lot of the bad actors, in my opinion. And those who are still here and working hard and trying, I'm going to try to support as best I can.
Yeah, and it's not like too out there either, you know. Just if you can only change a couple at that point, and it doesn't completely change the rarity, at that point it's purely cosmetic. Cosmetic changes, I personally don't mind. The weapon changes that do sound kind of large. I'm not sure because I'm not too familiar with the project. But knowing, I guess, their backstory and their connection to like games, changing the weapon does seem kind of big, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, the floor price on these has held up pretty well. They did before reveal, they're going for around 0.65. They had that reveal pullback that we always see, so now they're around 0.47. And I think they're going to kind of hang out there, and we'll see if the team announces anything in the near future. I personally don't hold any Valhalla. I don't intend to buy any, but they're doing some stuff, and I'll give them credit for that. You know, Dan, what else have you seen in the market over the last few days that has caught your eye?
In the market itself, I'm unsure. I'd have to pull up FLOLiO real quick, see if anything stands out. I don't recall from the top of my head. It looks like Clone X is a lot of volume, like more than they would normally have. Around 240 ETH.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. And the floor is almost back to 7. So the founders, 2 of the founders and a few of the community managers held the spaces yesterday on Twitter. I listened into it. It seemed like it was a lot of lip service and there was a lot of talking, but they didn't really say much. They kind of took ownership for some of the complaints that people had, but it felt like they were kind of dismissive of a lot of things. And I mean, like I said, I don't own any Clone X or any artifact at this point, and I have no intention of it. And it's been pretty bad overall. You know, we look at the coupon that you're gonna have for the sneaker release. The sneakers come out on Monday, and you can use the Lace engine to get, you know, money off of it. The Lace engine is now under 0.1 ETH. So it's at the point where, you know, that if you got that coupon and if you paid, I guess now it may be worth it to buy one if you want to get the shoes and get the discount because the price of the Lace engine is less than the discount. But the people who are spending like 0.25, 0.3 ETH on it, you know, spending $400 to get $130 discount. I mean, I feel bad for them for sure.
Yeah, but it's kind of odd, right? If you have an NFT that is essentially worth the equivalent to, I don't know, like was it like 150 something bucks off? then naturally the price of that NFT is going to be either the same or less than that price, because obviously there aren't like that many people that are rushing to be buying these shoes, right? So it's kind of odd that they were just like, yeah, this is worth $150, and then if you can resell if you want, and I mean naturally it's gonna dip below that. I would assume in this scenario.
Yeah. So the shoes come out on Monday. Do you think they're going to sell out?
How many are there? Do you know?
19,000.
No.
You don't think they're going to sell out?
No,
Even when it goes into the public sale?
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be super disappointing. 3,000, 4,000 sold, I think.
That's it, really?
Yeah, because these are physical ones, right? Like the physical ones.
Yeah, but I mean, they're figuring out ways to ship them internationally now. I mean, there's almost 10,000 Clone X holders. You don't think?
No.
I've heard of some people saying they're going to buy multiple pairs of them.
It's possible.
Is that physical sales or redemptions sales? There's 19,000 pairs of sneakers, so they're going to have 19 pair. We don't know the rate. Like there are 4 different colorways on it, and they have like different prices. I think the most expensive are the ugliest of them all, but I don't know. I think I'm questioning if they're going to sell out. I think they'll sell more than 3,000 or 4,000 pairs. I could see it being like 12 to 15,000.
Okay.
But I'm not. So I'm not a sneakerhead. So Dekenza's a normal pair of Jordans are around 200. They've put out the Nike Adapt BB 2.0 is a self-lacing shoe that dropped in 2019 or 2020, and those retailed for $400, and they were not very well received. These are retailing public anywhere for if you have the coupon, it's like between $480 and $1,100. If you don't have the coupon, it's between like $580 and $1,300 based on the colorway. I don't think there's any way they maintain that value long term. We saw with the Nike Adapts that now they're selling on secondary sites like StockX for around $200, $250. Yes, there are additional pieces of tech to this that I think are pretty cool from an authentication standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
They had the move to earn built in, which I don't really give a whole lot of value to, quite honestly. Like we'll see how much that's really worth. Because I don't know how much money Nike and Artifact are going to put into something like that. But I would be going into this public sale that you're buying them if you really, really like them and you want to wear them, or if you think that 10 years from now, Artifact is going to be a big player in the sneaker industry, and these are kind of like a historical piece of sneaker footwear. Because we have seen that. Like we've seen Nike SB Dunks that were from the early years going for tens of thousands of dollars. We've seen original Jordans sell for tens of thousands of dollars. I think that there's a very slim chance that these sneakers ever get to that point. But if you think that that's a possibility, it's a risk, and it could be one worth taking. It's not one I'm going to take, that's for sure. But some people might.
Yeah, and in general, what I think is that because I've been looking in the Artifact Discord every now and then, just to kind of, I guess maybe a little bit for the drama. It's kind of seeing people's reactions, I suppose, to everything. It's entertaining, I suppose. But I think that there's a lot of Clone X holders that feel like they are being milked, judging from their comments. And I don't think that the first thing that they're planning on doing is spending more money on Artifact. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I wonder how it's going to go. It's going to be very interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think they talked in the space yesterday about how they need to communicate better, and they've said that before. And to Artifact, not to totally dunk on Artifact, but Yuga has said that before too, and they've done a terrible job of communications. Gutter Cat Gang hasn't communicated well. Plenty of these other NFT projects, and they keep saying that, but they never really, I haven't seen that many people truly deliver on it. And all of these NFT businesses that have a lot of money, it seems like they fill out their communications positions near the end, which is a big miss. And they're constantly being reactive to news instead of being proactive. So I think that there's a lot of improvements they need to make from that standpoint. And I don't know what exactly they're going to like. I get that they can't be giving away a pair of sneakers like this to every holder. It's not realistic. But at the same time, communicating some of these things better and knowing what people expect should be, we've been in this long enough where a team like Artifact, like Yuga, they've seen the way that the market and the communities think, and they should be able to anticipate, okay, here are going to be the things that could upset people. Let's get out in front of these with communication so that we're not pissing everyone off every 3 months.
Yeah. And in contrary, I do think that they should be able to give every holder a free pair of shoes. But it's going to cost them money for sure. Like they're going to lose money on it as a company, as a project. But is that not how it's supposed to be every now and then, right? It's kind of like give and take, right? But I feel like in Artifact's case, it's only take. I think that every now and then they should, just do something to please the holders, Because imagine if they did, that floor will be above 10 like very soon. And I think, I don't know, it might be a worthy investment from their side, but I don't think that they're willing to take that gamble.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that with sneakers. I could see them maybe doing that with like a hoodie or something, because like how much does it really cost to manufacture a hoodie? And if you send one out to each holder, like would it be the end of the world? No. So I think like if they did a snapshot of, on a certain date so that people can't spread them out, and yet if someone holds 50 Clone X's, get 50 hoodies. But if they did a snapshot of like, hey, every Clone X holder in this day, here's a redemption. You can go in and claim your free hoodie. It's Artifact, Nike logoed or something. I think that would be a positive. And I think that'd be a gesture of goodwill that would go a long way. Like Nike, it can't cost Nike more than $10-15 for a hoodie. And if that's $10 for 10,000 followers, like that's a drop in the bucket of what Artifact has made on the primary sales of Clone X, the secondary sales of all these collections. Like, you're right, that is not too much to ask for. I think they absolutely should do that. It would go a long way in making people happy and showing that they actually give a shit about their community.
Yeah, and like how much do you think their marketing budget is for Nike, for example? Like that's I don't know. That budget must be so high that I can't even name it. Like that must be millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Oh, probably their daily budget for like how much they lose is way more than 100K. Like it's obscene. So I think that, it can't hurt if they do something, even a t-shirt, even a freaking beanie, like just something to give back that people don't have to pay for, so they're not feeling like they're constantly being used as Artifact and Nike's exit liquidity. So I think you're right. I think it's a good call. Let's get into. Go ahead.
Or give them like $100 off on Nike store or something. Just $50 off on Nike store. Like they're gonna spend anyway, right? Like they're just earning less from sales. Just do anything, man. Anything. They're gonna be asking for like thousands of dollars again for shoes. Like I don't know. I don't think this is gonna go well.
Yeah, and I think so. This can kind of transition into Utes and DGods a little bit, because I think what they're doing is smart. You can now stake your Utes and your DGods. You earn points, and they've started doing where every 24 hours they're releasing a new item that you can buy with the points from staking. So they started with the trucker hat. They now have a hoodie, and it's not something that you're gonna spend money on. You're gonna spend your staking points on, which I think is a good idea. Like it also gets away from them being concerned about staking as a form of security, the token, like a token, and it being a security and dealing with regulation that way, which I think is probably the right thing to do. I'm actually considering buying a Ute, which I've never bought anything on Solana before. I know it's like, who would have thought this day would have come here?
Who's this guy?
But I like that mechanic. I think it's a good idea, and their hoodie looks good. Like the Utes logo looks really cool on there. I could see it being something that people wear around and get questioned about, and it's I think they're doing some really good stuff to try to turn Utes into a larger brand. So kudos to them on that point. I think that even a big company like Artifact and Nike could take away some lessons from some of these other NFT businesses.
Yeah, and say what you will about Utes and DeGods, that's smart thinking. That's thinking ahead of the curve as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely kudos to them. Sounds like a really good idea. Like, I don't think every project should chase this like staking and token and all that kind of stuff like idea. So this kind of a point system and then them being able to claim, that's a good idea.
agreed. So let's move into Otherside now. There was an interview on Wednesday with Garga, one of the founders of Yuga Labs, at the Benzinga conference. So there was a big conference where they had people from crypto, from the NFT space, and one of those interviews was with Garga. And there was a lot of discussion around Otherside that I found to be very interesting. Dan, did you get a chance to watch any of it? Did you see any of the highlights?
I heard some highlights. So some things included 2 voyages per month, I believe. And then in 20... Okay.
So he said that now that they're continuing to implement more changes and try to drive forward with what it's capable of, the time frame between voyages should get shorter and shorter. So he mentioned that the first voyage took place all the way back in July. The second one is still supposed to be happening later this month because they teased that out a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm under the belief, I think as I've mentioned on here, that the trial of Jimmy the Monkey that has people excited, myself included, I think it's going to take place in Otherside just based on the timelines. I think that, and he said in the interview that the next voyage is going to show more of the Otherside's characters, more of the functionality.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that plays in well with my thought that Otherside and the trial of Jimmy the Monkey are going to be interconnected. So he said that it sounds like it could get to the point where there's maybe there's still 10 more voyages that are supposed to take place. So, we'll have the second one here later this month. That would leave, 9 more. And he also mentioned, and you were getting to it, that he hopes the plan is for Otherside to be live, and open 24/7 in Q3 of next year. Now, what I'll say is that anytime that Yuga has said that something is coming in a specific quarter, it's always at the absolute end of that quarter.
Yeah.
We saw it earlier this year when they said that there was going to be big stuff in Q1, and it didn't happen until the last week of March. We've seen it with, they said back in Q3 that the next Otherside voyage would happen in Q4. Well, guess what? It's going to happen in the very end of Q4. So I would expect that maybe the very end of September next year, we see Otherside go live, which honestly is earlier than I thought it was going to be.
It is, especially if you think because how long has it been since the last voyage? That must be half a year or something, right?
Like I said, July. So that'll have been 5.5 months by the time the next one rolls around.
Yeah. So, if we follow that schedule or whatever you call it, so end of Q3 next year, that's quick. That means they have to scale up, and they have to keep increasing on the amount of voyages that they how do you say that? They decrease the amount of time between voyages.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I got one. I'm looking forward to playing the voyages with some friends and seeing, hopefully. Oh, you as well? Yeah, we should maybe call or something.
Yeah,
we should maybe call when it happens, and then hopefully the trial of Jimmy the Monkey as well. So looking forward to all that stuff.
Yeah, and the Other Deed sale was the very last day of April. So if this does go live near the end of September, Q3 of next year, that'll have been 17 months, which in the timeline of building out something this ambitious, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. It remains to be seen the quality of it. That is where, my concern is. But the fact that they are putting they're giving us a little bit more information as far as when it's going to happen and it being a little bit more transparent. Another thing that he mentioned in that interview is how they're trying to make this a grown-up version of Roblox, and that they want to drive value back to the holders of the Other Deeds. So I don't know if that, on the Other Deeds, you have different resources and artifacts and sediment tiers and all of these things. So I don't know if that means like, if you're holding resources, you'll be able to sell those resources and people are going to need them to build on their land, or what that might be. There has to be something behind the resources. That's why I've tried to hold my other deeds that had like, different types of resources on them to kind of see what value that drives long term. But I think that's pretty cool. And, they're trying to build something that is very interoperable and allows a lot of different people to play it, not just Bored Apes, not just other deeds holders. They want to drive that value back to the other deeds holders, because he mentioned how, the founders have played a lot of games over the years, and they always hated it how if they put a lot of time, money, and effort into these games, they were never really rewarded. They couldn't, do anything outside of the game with the stuff they had. So they want to try to flip the script and make it to where people are getting value derived from their participation in the games, which I think a lot of people, want to see happen. It remains to be seen whether or not that brings in people from outside the NFT space to play this. Like you and I have said, like we've beaten this one to death, but if the game is fun, new people will play. And if in the process they happen to be able to get more value out of their time playing, that's just going to be icing on the cake.
Yeah, that is the hardest thing to do, I would assume. And yeah, like you said, that remains to be seen. It has to be fun, and it has to be welcoming to new people, and it has to be interoperable as well. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question marks in the future. I am willing to make one crazy prediction though. A very
okay. Let's hear it.
Classic dance crazy prediction. I think
does it involve Wolf Game?
No. Actually, not this time. It is the other side. I can see Apple maybe either investing in Yuga or being a large player in the other side.
Is there any certain, like, any reason, like, what's your rationale behind that belief?
It is a lot of competitors of them are also very busy in metaverse Web3. Apple hasn't really done anything other than the fact that they've come out and said how they're supporting crypto for Apple Pay, all that kind of stuff. So I think that we might see their first like entrance in metaverse or Web3 through Yuga Labs and the other side.
Okay, I like that.
It's just a prediction.
I love it. I like that kind of bold prediction right there. Yeah, I'm trying to stay. Like, I'm not trying to get too excited here, because I think that's been a mistake people have made, is they get their expectations too high. I want to see if this next Otherside journey is really cool. And, he also said that he wants to they want to build a lot of weird shit, is literally the quote from Garga. They want to do things different. And I think that's, we need that. We need stuff that is fun, because we are in the midst of a brutal bear market. I don't think that's ending anytime soon. It's going to be a while. So I think for people to, get through this, they need to have some fun things to do, some stuff to look forward to. And, Otherside could be that. Whatever else Yuga has up their sleeves could be that as well. So I'm all for them. And I really hope that, yes, that there's value to Bored Ape holders besides the stuff that they're building, but I really hope that it can be inclusive to other people in the NFT space who don't hold Bored Apes. Like I said earlier on, I want to see the people who are still here have fun with it, stick around for a long time, help build, and having things that they can focus on besides just the floor price of, what they're holding is a very good thing. And so I hope Yuga can kind of be a leader from that standpoint.
Yeah, and one thing I hope they focus on is I hope they don't put their main focus on this being like a people connecting with people type metaverse, right? The issue with people nowadays is that social media isn't new to us, right? We are very used nowadays to be able to talk to anyone on the world. This was super different, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where everything was new, everything was fresh, right? Because I find myself in games. I used to be on that voice chat all day, every day, playing games, talking to people, having fun, flaming people, getting mad. But nowadays, I find myself, avoiding voice chats because people are just like bitter, and it's less fun and it's not special anymore. So I'm afraid that they may be focused. This is something metaverses do too often. They think it's all about connecting people, talking to people, but it's no longer like special. It's no longer really like a selling point or like a point for people to hop on and, oh, I'm really excited to be talking to people in VR right now. That's less of like a selling point. So I hope it's more about like, I don't know, having fun, play to earn or whatever. I just don't think that social, like, I don't know, interaction is like the main like driver of the game, or like at least like I hope it's not.
Yeah, I think they are very much gaming focused here. One thing that Garga also said in the interview was that, you know, he and Gordon, the other founder, are very much focused on the creative side, and Yuga trying to be like a storytelling, gaming, creative company. They have like a full team of like 40 engineers, he said, to really execute on these things, but they want to be focused on creating stories, creating fun experiences, which I think is a very good thing. Like, they know who they are. They're not trying, you know, there are other companies out there who are trying to lead on the tech side of things, and that's not what they are. That's not what they want to do. And they're not like bending to that. They're focusing on storytelling and making it fun. So I'm all for that. We have, you know, the other big thing from, you know, kind of Yuga associated is the ApeCoin staking goes live on Monday. The site is already live, but the rewards earning process begins on Monday. I still haven't gotten my ApeCoin back from Gemini. No. I forgot to mention this. I was actually interviewed by Forbes for an article that went on the Forbes website about ApeCoin staking. So my name was in an article there. That was interesting. Hopefully I get my money back. I can't decide right now if I want to go ahead and, because like right now there's such a good APY for the mutant staking pool because so few people have fully staked their mutants. I can't decide if I want to swap some ETH over to Ape and stake my mutants for the time being, because I think that it could be a really nice return. You know, I'm not expecting it to be like life-changing money. I think some people have their expectations are too high. But for me, the way I'm viewing ApeCoin staking is it's going to dilute the price of Ape in the short term, especially once the redemption periods begin, you know, once they start paying out rewards. But at the same time, I believe that Yuga is going to drive value to ApeCoin. They're going to have more use cases for it. And so I kind of view this next year as like trying to accumulate it in the hopes that with Otherside going live in Q3 and ApeCoin being the currency that's going to be used in Otherside, that there is value from that standpoint.
Yeah, and if I may ask, how much in Ape do you are you locked out of from Gemini? If you want to talk about that, of course.
Close to 20,000. So I own 50% of this portfolio that has close to 20,000 tokens, which is roughly $80,000.
Man, that sucks. Is there anything you're planning on? Is there anything you can do? Is there anything you're planning on doing?
I am at the mercy of Genesis Lending, who is what, you know, that's who Gemini used for the Gemini Earn program. So there's really nothing I can do right now. I'm just sitting here hoping and praying that I get my money back.
Yeah, I think even the Mt. Gox people got their Bitcoin back. So I'm hoping everything goes well for you and your Gemini account.
It was interesting. Within hours of that Forbes article coming out, they sent out an email that, you know, they'll be updating people twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, as far as where they are in the process of reimbursing everyone. So, you know, it would be really cool if I got my ApeCoin back today and I could just like throw that into the staking pools, but I don't see that being the case. So I have to make a decision on if I want to stake and, you know, and how much and all that stuff. So not really looking forward to that decision, but I'm going to have to make it.
Sometimes you have to make difficult choices.
That is true, Dan. That is true. Anything else? I know you got to get out of here because you got a big football match to watch. Netherlands and Argentina.
Yep.
10 minutes. Give me I want your official prediction on the outcome of this match.
I think Argentina is going to take it 2-1. I think. Okay. It hurts saying, of course, because I'm Dutch, but hopefully we win. But realistically, I think it's going to be tough. But me being Dutch, I have to keep my hopes high, of course.
Hey, Croatia upset Brazil.
Yeah,
anything can happen, man.
Anything can happen. We've seen so many upsets in this tournament. I don't think we've ever had this many upsets in a single tournament. I think this is like number 5, like large upset. So definitely there may be something in the air. Anything is possible.
Who knows? Anything is possible. Well, good luck to your fellow Dutchmen today. I look forward to watching the match. I hope they win. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll be back next week for Dan. Oh, sorry. Like today's stream, subscribe to our channel, head to FLOLiO.com. Sorry, I had to get that in before we go. So please do those things. It takes a few seconds. It means a ton to us. I appreciate it. So for Dan, for the team at FLOLiO, I am Jeremy. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.